listening to the Talkative Toastmaster podcast. I'm your host, Melanie Surplus. In this podcast, we explore how Toastmasters can help you to polish your public speaking skills, communicate with confidence, and amplify your authenticity. You'll hear from my fellow Toastmasters and I how this global organisation has impacted our lives for the better and how it could impact yours. Now, let's get talkative. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to episode 12. In this week's episode, we're talking about the art of giving and receiving constructive feedback and how Toastmasters can help you to hone this incredibly important aspect of speaking. Speech evaluations are an integral and transformative aspect of Toastmasters. It's one of the aspects I feel delivers the most personal growth in people. In this episode, we're going to explore 6 key areas which will outline the essence of speech evaluations, their significance within the Toastmasters community, and how the art of giving and receiving constructive feedback can be a catalyst for personal and professional growth. So, area number 1, understanding speech evaluations. Speech evaluations are the backbone of Toastmasters, a crucial component that sets this organisation, I feel, apart in the realm of personal and professional development. At its core, a speech evaluation is a structured and constructive feedback mechanism that aims to provide insightful observations, commendations, that is, things that people did well, and recommendations, that is, things that people could do to improve, to a speaker after delivering their speech. The evaluation process typically involves a fellow Toastmaster, the evaluator, meticulously analysing various elements of the speech, such as content, delivery, and structure. The evaluator's role is not merely to critique, but to offer constructive insights that empower the speaker to refine their skills and become more effective communicators. I could give many examples of what this might look like, but let's say a person had given a speech on their favourite road trip and I was evaluating it, and I might say something like, "Hey Sarah, I really loved the way that you used colourful words and word images to create the picture in my mind that made me feel like I was there in the car with you. It was such a clear description of what you were looking at, what you were seeing, what you were feeling, that I really felt like I was there." And just letting Sarah know that the way she did that impacted my experience of her speech. Similarly, Sarah may have been a little nervous and her speech may have been really quick, really fast. And I might say to her, "Look, Sarah, I think you've done an amazing job," and I would point out all the things that she's done well, and I might say, as a point for improvement, you might want to look at slowing your speech down just a little bit. I know you're excited about this road trip, but if you were to slow your speech down a bit, it would help the audience to really feel like they were there with you. You may want to consider that for your next speech. But in any evaluation, it's still always the evaluator's opinion. Nothing is set in stone, and if you had 20 people evaluate the same speech, you would all have different feedback about that speech. Area number 2, the integral role of evaluations in Toastmasters. Because Toastmasters was founded with the mission of empowering people to become more effective communicators and leaders, it places a profound emphasis on speech evaluations. It's in the crucible of evaluations that Toastmasters truly shine, demonstrating their commitment to mutual growth and continuous improvement. In Toastmasters meetings, every speech is typically followed by an evaluation, creating a unique and supportive environment. This structured feedback loop allows speakers to gain valuable insights into their strengths and areas for improvement. Additionally, it fosters a culture of collaboration where members uplift and inspire one another on their journey to mastery of communication and leadership. And you'll have heard, if you've listened to the various episodes before this, of other Toastmasters talking about how supportive and collaborative the organisation is. We've all had evaluations that have helped us to become better speakers, and it's really, as I said, one of the cornerstones of the organisation. Speech evaluations serve as a microcosm of the Toastmasters ethos, and it's a place where learning is celebrated, mistakes are seen as opportunities, and growth is not just encouraged but expected. By providing and receiving evaluations, Toastmasters members cultivate a mindset of perpetual improvement, an attitude that extends beyond the meeting room and into their everyday lives. I did a recent speech about this podcast, in fact, where I was intending to play a clip of one of the episodes, and I got through my 5 to 7 minute speech. I felt it actually went fairly smoothly, and then I got to the climax where I was going to present an episode, and the sound completely failed. In that situation, I had to carry on. I obviously tried to rectify the situation, but when it became clear that the audio was simply not going to play through the equipment that I was using, even though I'd practiced it beforehand, I just had to conclude my speech, and we all had a bit of a giggle afterwards. Similarly, I was at another meeting recently where another member was going to do a presentation about a particular website, and the whole presentation rested on us being able to see this website. But at the 11th hour, and as Murphy's Law would dictate, the internet went down and she was not able to show the page, and proceeded to go through the entire presentation using her hand gestures and descriptive language to visually and verbally tell us what we should have been seeing. And again, we all had a bit of a giggle about how she powered through that particular scenario, but the fact that she was able to do it, and the fact that the evaluator in that instance picked up her resilience in keeping going despite technical difficulties. And this is a very real world situation. How many times have you been at work where technology has failed, or you've been on a Zoom call and it cuts out just as you're in the middle of the most important part of the presentation? So the more we can have experience with those situations and coping with them, and getting some feedback about how we coped with adverse, less than desired situations like that, the more we can deal with them better in the future. Area number 3, the positivity of speech evaluations. Criticism often carries a negative connotation, but within Toastmasters, evaluations are grounded in positivity and encouragement. The goal is not to highlight flaws, but to celebrate achievements and offer guidance for improvement. Evaluators focus on what went well, acknowledging the speaker's strengths and achievements before gently delving into areas that could be refined. This positive approach is not just a matter of courtesy, it's a strategic choice. Research in psychology underscores the effectiveness of positive reinforcement in facilitating learning and development. When people receive praise and recognition for their efforts, they're more likely to be motivated to improve and continue their journey of growth. Toastmasters, I feel, harnesses this principle, creating a culture where evaluations are not feared, but welcomed as opportunities for advancement. And if anything, I've heard more experienced Toastmasters say that the evaluations can start to become a little too gentle, and that they'd perhaps like a little more brutal feedback. Of course, this would be done in a nice way. And this is always something that can be discussed in advance with your evaluator. Area number 4, learning from each evaluation. One of the hallmarks of the Toastmasters experience is the diverse range of speakers and evaluators in each meeting. Whether you're a seasoned speaker or a newbie, each evaluation offers a unique perspective that contributes to your growth. Every evaluator brings their own experiences, insights, and communication style into the evaluation process. And it's this diversity which enriches everyone's learning experience, exposing speakers to different viewpoints and approaches. By embracing this diversity and remaining open to feedback, Toastmasters members position themselves to glean wisdom from every evaluation, and this expands their knowledge and hones their skills in the art of communication. Additionally, the practice of active listening, which is a fundamental skill in the evaluation process, is a transferable skill that extends far beyond the Toastmasters platform. And a couple of the guest interviews I've had, the guests have specifically talked about how Toastmasters has improved their active listening skills. In our personal and professional lives, the ability to listen attentively, discern key points, and provide thoughtful feedback is invaluable. By actively participating in evaluations, Toastmasters members sharpen this skill, enhancing their capacity for effective communication in all facets of their life. Area number 5, constructive feedback as a life skill. While the primary focus of speech evaluations is on refining communication skills, the principles of constructive feedback apply to many other areas of our lives. The ability to provide and receive constructive feedback is a life skill that transcends the boundaries of public speaking. In the workplace, for example, constructive feedback is the cornerstone of professional growth. Employees who actively seek feedback, learn from it, and apply it to their work are more likely to excel in their careers. I know that in my current workplace, we're asked to provide feedback on colleagues and our managers at least twice a year. And I absolutely use the evaluation principles I've learned at Toastmasters in this exercise each time I'm asked to do it. It just means I'm actively looking for things that people did well and things that they could improve on, and delivering that in a kind and constructive way with examples and perhaps analysis and all the skills that I'm taught in Toastmasters evaluations. Similarly, as leaders, the capacity to deliver feedback in a constructive way distinguishes great leaders from good ones. It creates an environment where individuals feel empowered to take risks, knowing that even setbacks will be met with constructive guidance. Think about a time where you've messed something up at work and you've had a boss come down on you like a ton of bricks. And think about another time where you may have had a more supportive manager who's pulled you aside and had a quiet word about how you might want to do things differently. The way that criticism or feedback or areas for improvement are delivered to us can make the absolute world of difference. Similarly, in personal relationships, effective communication is paramount. Constructive feedback enables people to express their needs, concerns, and aspirations in a way that fosters understanding and collaboration. It forms the bedrock of strong, resilient relationships where growth is not stunted by miscommunication, but nurtured through open and honest dialogue. And area number 6, the transformative power of constructive feedback. Constructive feedback is a catalyst for transformation. In the context of speech evaluation, it propels speakers to new heights of eloquence and persuasiveness. And I can't count the number of times I've seen nervous speakers become more confident speakers just by applying the feedback they get each meeting. By addressing areas for improvement in a supportive way, evaluators empower speakers to refine their techniques, correct habits, and explore new avenues of expression. One piece of feedback that I often receive is to slow down my speech. I find when I'm on stage and in front of people, I tend to speak pretty fast, and my hands get pretty animated as well. Because I'm usually passionate about what I'm talking about, this is one of the ways I express myself. Even doing this podcast, I constantly have to remind myself to slow down, take a breath, and really allow you, the listener, to digest what I'm saying. Beyond the immediate benefits to public speaking skills, The transformative power of constructive feedback extends to personal development. It instills a growth mindset where challenges are just simply seen as opportunities for improvement rather than insurmountable obstacles. Toastmasters, through its commitment to constructive feedback, equips its members with the resilience and adaptability needed to thrive in this ever-evolving world. As we start to wrap up this episode, I hope I've been able to outline for you why speech evaluations are not merely a ritual within Toastmasters. They're the lifeblood of the organisation and foster an environment of learning, encouragement and growth. By emphasising the positive aspects of each speech, Toastmasters members create a culture where feedback is a gift, a tool for improvement rather than criticism. Through the iterative process of giving and receiving evaluations, Toastmasters members hone their communication skills, cultivate a mindset of continuous improvement, and develop into confident, articulate leaders. The transformative power of constructive feedback extends far beyond the meeting room, enriching our personal and professional lives with a spirit of collaboration, resilience, and growth. So, let us celebrate the art of speech evaluations, for they're not just assessments of our speeches, they're stepping stones on our journey to becoming the best versions of ourselves. I personally embrace each evaluation as an opportunity to learn, to grow, and to inspire others on their path of self-discovery and mastery. If you're ready to unlock your potential, consider joining a Toastmasters club near you. Check out the Find a Club link on the Toastmasters International website at www.toastmasters.org. It's worth visiting a couple of different clubs as a guest to see which club best suits you. If you do take the leap and visit a meeting, I would absolutely love to hear your experience. Feel free to message me at talkativetoastmaster@gmail.com or tag me in the comments if you found this podcast on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter. Thanks for listening to today's show. Head to talkativetoastmaster.com where you'll find the show notes for this and all other episodes, as well as links to some awesome Toastmasters resources. If you found value in today's content, I'd really appreciate if you could share it with friends and colleagues who may be interested, or leave a review on iTunes. This helps more people to find us. Until next time, remember the words of Rave Robinson. The best speeches come from the heart and reflect your passion. Speak as if your life depended on it. Have a great week.